On the east side till I die. Till I die. Bumping that bone thugs till I die. Till I die. In the hood, I'm good till I die. CLE till I die.
Welcome to the New York Times Popcast. You're jump right in that crowd, boy, of music news and criticism. I'm John Caramonica, a critic at the New York Times.
I am Joe Coscarelli. I'm a culture reporter at the New York Times.
MGK is with us today. You certainly know MGK from at this point, 15-year career. You may know him as a wild boy from his early 2010s hip-hop albums and mixtapes. You may know him from his pop-punk turn.
On my wish list, she knows my pressure points, it hurts.
In the early 2020s.
That's Tickets to My Downfall and Mainstream Sellout, two #1 albums. He's coming back now with Lost Americana, out August 8th. Comes on the heels of a highly documented tabloid relationship with Megan Fox. The couple welcomed a daughter earlier this year. Quite a journey for MGK.
Personal, professional, musical, psychological, spiritual, and we're going to talk about it all. So welcome to Popcast MGK.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. I would like to first talk about the awkward how long this stretch is. So maybe I should just keep.
We talked about all this
I'll just
stuff.
keep
These
this
are
cup
good
over
news.
here.
We're like, you're a really tall guy.
Yeah.
Maybe he can reach.
Mm-hmm.
John was like, I need some room for my
I need to have,
feet.
I'm a
Okay,
tall
cool,
guy. I
yeah.
need
It's
like a little bit
but
of
no,
foot.
we have not perfected. The set placement is a work in progress.
I think I'll keep it in my hand.
Lost Americana,
Yeah.
your new album.
Yeah.
How do you sum up the album for people?
Well, one, it's me leaving the Tower of Babel and getting back on like the open road.
Yeah.
You know, in the sense of it's acknowledging the presence of the gossip and the chatter, but choosing simplicity, choosing things that make me feel more connected with a version of myself that was more connected with happiness. I mean, I think it's like reawakening the eternal boy archetype in a healthy way. I think like there's actually a book called Now or Neverland, which deals with the Jungian eternal boy archetype.
I was going to say Peter Pan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, the actual backstory before the Disney adopted version of Peter
Sure.
Pan is one of, I mean, it's pretty dark. And I think there's two different paths. And I mean, I am not a Jungian, and God forbid I even attempt to start pulling out the exact terminology for
All the psychology PhDs in the audience.
Yeah,
are
I don't
really
even want.
agitated.
Their fingers are itching.
They're waiting for me to say
Yeah.
the wrong term. I won't even go there. You can insert them below, but there's ones in which they embrace their destiny, and the eternal boy serves them, meaning it gives them the constant creativity. Because that's what that boyishness keeps you riled up, and that keeps the creative juices flowing. And then there's the other ones in which a young preemptive death is imminent, and I think a premature death is imminent
And you get stuck.
because they aren't rooted.
Right.
And so I've danced the line of that very heavy, and I think this album swayed this way.
Another wise man called it a personal excavation of the American dream.
Absolutely.
A sonic map of forgotten places, a tribute to the spirit of reinvention, and a quest to reclaim the essence of American freedom.
For sure.
So that was in the album trailer for
Yes.
Lost Americana, which was narrated by a very familiar voice that most people have taken to be Bob Dylan.
This album is a love letter to those who seek to rediscover it, the dreamers, the drifters, the defiant. It's a sonic map of forgotten places, a tribute to the spirit of reinvention, and a quest to reclaim the authentic essence of American freedom.
That is correct.
This came on the heels of Bob Dylan posting an old video of you to his
Yeah.
Instagram account.
Yeah.
Yes, Bob Dylan has an Instagram account, has a TikTok too. That video, side note, filmed at my childhood record store.
Really?
Park Ave CDs.
Oh my God, yes.
In Orlando, Florida,
Yes.
Winter Park. I used to drive with my friends 45 minutes to go
Wow,
buy an album
dude.
there. So there you are at Park Ave CDs in 2015, 2016. And then there it is on Bob Dylan's Instagram.
Yeah.
What happened?
Yeah.
What happened? Why?
Are you and Bob and kind of like, are you sending him old live videos of yourself often? And then
How did he find
Yeah,
that?
how does
How did
that
it end up on
land
his
on him?
Instagram? How did you find out?
No, the only ethos in which Bob existed in my life as being in the greatest of all time category, sitting in a thought bubble above my head.
Never met.
Never met.
To this day.
Never with. No, I have met him since. That's the beauty of manifestation and how the universe has aligned this album so brilliantly, which the only other time I felt anything so serendipitous was on Tickets to My Downfall. That was the only time I ever was like, wow, like all these stars aligned.
Sure.
So yeah, it kind of felt like the age of Aquarius or something like that. We were like, wow, how is like something is happening.
But yeah, take us on that journey from.
Yeah, first off, I'm in my sunken pit in my house. We recorded this album in my living room because our studio burnt down in the LA fires. The studio that we loved recording at, that we had put a lot of our vibes into, it crumbled.
Which part of town was it?
This was in Malibu. I mean, here's the real truth. I spent Christmas and New Year's, the whole month of December and late November in a rehab facility. I came out, the world was very loud about me and my personal business. Ironically, neither me or Megan have said anything. I mean, still to this day, there could have been zero drama, and you would never know because none of us have said one thing.
Right. It's all anonymous.
Absolutely.
They're broken up.
Yeah,
They're
it's
getting
all
back together.
It's
They're
all
not getting back
claims and things that
together.
have happened out of our control, I guess. And I came home to this. I was somewhat aware when I was in there, but you have no phones. You have nothing. I mean, essentially the only thing I have on my side is my fan pages and my friends and family. So I come home and I'm like, okay, it's the 6th of January, I think was when I got home. I started to let go of a lot of the material excitement that normally I would have had. I mean, I'm like a king of FOMO. So when you're in there and, you know, my friend Jelly Roll's like, we're come perform New Year's Eve in front of millions of people and all these other things. And you're just like, I'm going to sit in this gray room with a cold shower and thoughts and just
Trying to get right.
get right.
Yeah.
And
So you were going through it.
for sure. And so I get home and I'm like, I'm going to try a water fast. And so I get to the 3rd day of the water fast. The fires start, but they start pretty close to the house. I'm like, I'm just going to push it and go for 4 days of this water fast. On the 4th day, at Michael B. Jordan's house, who's my neighbor, and we're looking and the fire's like right there. And I'm like, my body's already going through it. I'm pushing myself to through a delirious state. And I'm not really sure if the house is gonna burn or anything like that. I kind of just gather up some letters, and I think I grabbed like a Banksy piece and a Picasso piece. And,
Different than some people's evacuation plan, but good for you.
Well, art is life to me. So
Sure.
art to me, it's like my
save
duty
the
to
art.
protect like
Yeah.
other people's legacies.
you're the
I
steward
don't
of
care
that.
if it's
Yeah.
like my clothes
Sure.
or
Replaceable.
the highs. Yeah, man, that's like what. But art to me is that's like a vital organ.
Sure.
So I'm trying to keep it alive.
Yeah.
Because I mean, the Picasso, it's in pencil.
Oh, it's
So
the one
even like
recycling
if someone
joints.
fucking brings an eraser, I'm like, whoa. Buddy.
Not in my house.
And I left, and I was like, since I missed Christmas and New Year's with my daughter, I was like, hey, like let's we're gonna go somewhere. And we went, and I came back. It didn't hit my house. It burnt the studio that we love to the ground, as well as many other people's places and things. And so we were like, okay, well, what do we do? And this album, to me, is kind of like a crossroads of exploration and solidification, as well as a reconciling of me and my best friends in the music space, because the last 2 albums I made heavily with Travis Barker.
Yeah.
And all the albums before I made with my best friends.
Yeah.
And I was like, obviously I wanted Travis's involvement always, because that's my mentor. But me and my best friends were like, hey, like let's do this again.
Like we used to.
And yeah. And like also like I'm so sick of people feeling like to hit it big with the song, like there is the recipe is this person or this person, these go-to call guys. And I'm like, dude, miss me with that, man. I've worked with them and respect to them, but I hate those records, dude. Like I don't even listen to those. It feels like a Keurig cup of coffee versus like a dripped, slow dripped, organic coffee that you went and picked out and love the notes of. And
great metaphor.
Yep.
If you say that name did it with you, oh, I love it.
Right.
I love it. And you're just like, what? That's like a placebo effect. That's like I want to solidify me as a songwriter. I believe in my songwriting on a prolific level so adamantly that I have I watched after Tickets to My Downfall, I watched a couple artists, specifically major artists, they were like, oh, well, we want to do a rock album, and they brought in every single person of the team that I assembled except for me. And then I didn't do what it was. And I said, but what ingredient do you think was missing though? Like, who do you think is writing that? Who do you like? We all are, but like, dude, I felt very undermined. And so the solidification was being like, we are going to come and make, whether it's pop songs, rock songs, rap songs. And at that point, when I came out that water fast and got back from the vacation with my daughter, I did not know what I was going to do.
And there's a little of each of that on this record.
There is. Yeah. But I know for sure the music that I had made for whatever the album was supposed to be the last 2 years, I couldn't stand. So I erased all of it. I kept my palms open. I felt like the Akashic Records just sent me some downloads, and I started making Lost Americana. And the exploration was, we are not going to pick any genre. We are going to make this freely. And I think the pivotal moment was when Slim, who's one of the producers on the record, goes, let's spend some money and like, let's buy a bunch of analog synths. Let's like not do like home studio setup. Let's like build this out for real. And that sound on Outlaw Overture, which is the intro of the album, a lot of people say, oh, it reminds me of Baba O'Reilly, which absolutely there's hints of that. But to me, there's also Contact from Daft Punk.
Okay.
Yep.
Baze, No Love, Nick Long, Sean Singh, Emma Rosen, Femme, Terrace Martin, John Batiste. I think that's the extent of the collaborations that existed on this album. I mean, this was a very tribal, ritualistic, thing going on as we made the music, just in the sense of like a bunch of young underdogs, making something to kind of punch the system in the face. And nothing made me happier than Cliche, which is it's only a month or 2 months in, but I would say it's an undisputed pop hit.
The first single from this album.
Yeah. And we walked in and we were like, yeah, we just made this.
It sounds cliche, but tell me, would you wait for me? Baby, I'm a rolling stone. I got a lot of right in me, but I don't want to say this wrong. Tell me, would you stay with me? Maybe we can make this home. You should run away with me, even if you're better off alone.
No one putting sauce on it. Like
there's no beguiling on this album.
No beguiling. I fuck with that.
Beguiling free.
Yeah,
it is.
Unbeguiled.
This album is not a character.
You also said when we were coming up from the elevator, when we were talking about the rollout, you said you feel like you're stripped away all the cool.
Yes.
And I wonder if you can talk about that, because I think a lot of people from the outside looking in will look at you and say, well,
seems like a cool guy to me.
Yeah, this guy's been cool for more than a decade. But you're saying, hey, I've hit this place and it's actually time to shed all that?
I mean, dude, any interview of me in my 20s, I'm just like, you could put a gun in my mouth and let it go. It makes me like cringe to the max. Also, you need the arc of like dumbass.
Yeah. To enlighten.
Prophetic. Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Right.
You've been on that journey.
Or
Definitely.
alternately, dumbass prophetic. Like it's
and I'm grateful that it went the other way.
Yeah,
you know, I think there was a characterization that I was playing into that really loved being a polarizing figure.
Mm-hmm.
I think though, when I'm at home at night, if you look at my astrological chart, it's one of the most like sensitive charts that exist. Among other gnarly diagnoses that I have, like hypersensitivity is one of the things. So I have a hardened shell. I grew up a battle rapper. Like I am prepped for war pretty much at all times, and we've watched me do it. But this is like the truth is, it felt much more satiating to the broken boy that I have just now finally like picked up, sat next to me, and I've been like, I'm adopting you to be the simpatico versus being the polarizing figure.
Mm-hmm. So when did Bob Dylan post you on Instagram in that
Holy
journey?
shit, is that how he fucking... Oh my God, dude. I am so sorry.
No, it's great.
We went on a ride there.
I am so sorry.
It was a Dylan-esque ride.
I was doing
Non-linear.
that exact same thing where I was having a rant in the sunken couch about is this the right album we're making? Because in my heart and and a lot of, half of my fan base is like, make this rap album that we have been promised and been waiting for forever. And in my heart, my DNA is hip hop. And I'm like having a conversation like this with being like, are we doing the right thing? I'm tripping out, man. Like, is that like, I don't want to disappoint the fans. We had 2 number ones. I want to hit the hat trick with this third one. And all while I'm doing this, I'm basically being like, I'm about to erase everything again. And someone goes, dude, Bob Dylan just posted you. And we're like, on what? And then we check, and I'm like, oh, for sure it's a fake one. Like, you know how they do on Twitter where it's like Will Ferrell, but it's like Will, and one of the R's is yes. And so we're looking for any mistakes in Bob Dylan's name. We're like, all right, like
there's a blue check.
But then I'm looking, and it's like, dude, it's like everything on his grid is like black and white, like old. Either it's like Malcolm X or like dead jazz players, or and I'm like, okay, how do I fit in here? What's going on? And it's like a D-side MGK video from like the 17th page of my YouTube channel. You know,
live at Park Ave CDs in Winter Park, Florida.
Totally. And and in that video, by the way, I'm just hopped up on cocaine, rapping for 15 minutes, like wouldn't shut up. My hands are just moving, like and we watched it. And we were kind of like, damn, that was hard. Like
kind of going off.
Yeah, kind of going off. Like, cool choice, Bob.
I see why he likes it.
Yeah.
I said that this morning when I was watching it. I was like, I see why he likes this. But also, what the hell?
And we messaged him, and we were like, dude, like...
You DM'd him?
No. We might like found his manager, and we were like, dude, did he mean to do this? And we get into talks, but he was like, yeah, I guess, he likes you. And we were like, hey, well, we have this album that's so rooted in almost everything you are about, man. And I don't know if there's something here. And I'm in the back of my head, I'm like, well, you didn't even promote your own movie or do anything. So I'm like, this is a super fat chance. But anyway, I took it.
You shot your shot.
I shot my shot. Same thing I did with DMX and how I got him on my first album. Same thing with, dude, I have this thing where as many of, the heroes that I've had that I've collided with, like I have just as many that I've somehow brought in. And, that was really interesting. And I met Bob at the Hollywood Bowl in the most, like, he's the most elusive snow leopard I've ever, like, even just, it gave me tickets to the show, but no guarantee of meeting. And then, like, I kept texting to the person, like, hey, I'm wearing a gray hair. Like,
as if they don't
here's
know
a
who you
picture
are.
of what I look like.
6'4", bleached hair.
I'm in this seat just in case.
Lots of tattoos.
And then, yeah, he goes up and nothing. And then out of nowhere, dude, like right before Willie Nelson going up, guys like, you want me, Bob?
Unbelievable.
And I was like, sure. And I guess I'll just keep that part private. But then, dude, I just came here a couple days ago after having a dinner with Mick Jagger.
Wild.
In London. So it's just these like Thanos stones of, you know.
When you talk to them, without obviously revealing sort of like private details of conversations, but like obviously it's clear you're a fan of them.
Yeah.
When they talk to you, what do they say about why they're welcoming you into their orbit?
Well, Mick Jagger had that quote. I forgot what it was exactly, but it was something along the lines of, "Oh, MGK is making rock and roll fun again."
Yeah.
And I think when they sit down, I'm so curious. I'm also awkward, so I just want to immediately like ask questions to. But I think I'll just go to like, okay, these guys are from eras of all of the greatest. He is quite possibly the greatest frontman of all time. I'm like, hey, any Michael Jackson stories, any Prince, any
So you're
Prince
just going
stories,
in. You're
any
doing
Bob
our
Dylan
job.
stories.
You're
I'm
doing
doing
our
that.
job.
Yeah, I'm having Popcast with him
right.
and I'm just like, you know, hanging on to every word because he's so interesting and he's so alive. But I didn't ask him like. I don't know. I guess in theory it makes sense, but in person I'd probably be like, so what do you feel about me? If you look me in my eyes, what do you?
Tell me.
Yeah. Tell me
good?
how awesome I am. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Am I good? Am I
Album
really good?
4 or album 5?
Yeah,
Like, I need
yeah,
to know.
yeah. What is your
You
favorite
like the rap stuff
MGK?
or the pop punk stuff?
Well,
Like-
dude, the Bob liking me as a rapper, it was just like.
I mean, he raps.
Yeah,
Again,
Bob's-
dude,
Subterranean,
Bob's the
all
original.
Six
It's
Blues.
the original rap song.
OG white
dog.
rapper.
Is in a basement, mixing up the medicine. I'm on a pavement, thinking about the government.
He must know.
Yeah.
Like he must hear. Like he knows.
Dog,
He knows.
in the basement cooking up the medicine, like it doesn't get more gangster than that, bro. That's like a feat. That's a clips.
It's a
That's
good
like
bar.
that's where like the
Yeah.
like
Yellow
that,
Wolf sampled it famously.
It was great.
That's true.
Yellow's version of that was hard.
really good.
Yeah.
Mixing up the medicine, I mixing up the medicine. I was in the basement, mixing up the medicine.
Clip should.
Yeah. There's still time.
There's
still
time.
So
I loved on the, you know, just like to music nerd out really quick. When
Yeah, go for it.
I had these sessions with Pharrell, and I remember the first thing I asked him was, yo, on track 2 on Hell Hath No Fury, why was the hi-hat off? There's just one hi-hat. It's on Mama I'm So Sorry. If you listen to it, oh dude, we should
Let's do it.
dude.
Yeah.
Listen, tell me if you hear it. I always wanted this as
It's
a
like
kid.
off beat or it's muted.
off, like he didn't quantize it.
Okay.
Gather round,
Did you hear that?
Yeah.
Gather round.
A little stutter.
Did he know? Did he know what you're talking about?
Yeah.
That's
cool.
the thing.
I mean,
Good
it
for-
lasted me 20 years. I've been waiting to ask that question forever. Like, I got in the session. I was like, thank you so much for having me and working with me.
What the fuck with the
Why
hi-hat?
fuck is that hi-hat off?
You are welcome to come and sit third chair if you ever want to come and do an interview.
Yeah, we just
with
had
us.
clips here. We
Yeah.
asked them some similar type questions.
Yeah,
You know?
that sort of picks up on an idea because obviously, dinner with Mick Jagger, private session with Bob Dylan,
Beef with Eminem, which you alluded
studio,
to.
studio sessions with
Alluded.
P. But I wonder, you have all these. It's an overused word in pop, but you have all these eras, right? You have moments in time. You have the Wild Boy era.
Yeah.
You've got your mid-period bad boy rap stuff. You have your pop punk emergence in 2020. And I wonder if you've seen how the world has looked at you during each of those times. Do you feel like people afford you more respect now than they did in the early years?
Honestly, the desire to look for it has just
not
left
there.
me. I don't care.
It's immaterial, really, if
It
you're not
is.
looking for it.
I have a fan base that has not left me for 15 years and that is constantly growing. So I don't know why I would be looking for the vocal minority. You know,
To
and
see if you convinced them to
yeah,
come to your
I
side.
don't care. I remember trying so hard, and I don't care because also you know you forget that the mass amounts of people. I mean, a lot of us look at things and we're like, man, that was really dope or whatever, but we don't go out of our way to like call them and tell them or comment on it or say
Right.
things.
You
The
just know to
vocal
keep
minority
it-
is very loud. I
Right.
hate this. You
Right.
suck. Like
Right.
and to be honest, that the narrative is at this point is just, it's so tired. It's become a pop culture thing that where MGK is a scapegoat, and I've just kind of like, I laugh because I'm going, you are now the conformist. Lost Americana is the enemy of the conformist thinker. It's the enemy of the ones who pick on the weak. It's the enemy of the bro, you know, like, which is my mortal enemy. You know, I have a migraine. I'm on a Pat McAfee show.
Big sports guy.
Yeah.
Well,
What sport did you play?
I was a tight end. I scored one football. I mean, I scored one.
That's
That's crazy.
Don't do that
That's
shit.
crazy. Hold
Don't
on.
do that shit.
Hey man, I'm not a sports guy. I don't
Believe it or
care
not.
that I said that, you know. But like,
Because you said football instead of
because I said I
touchdown.
scored a football instead of a touchdown. Hilarious, so stupid. But
People piled on.
I mean, but anything that I do, I'm just like, guys, hey man, I'm not trying to be that clever, dude.
And also, it's like if you can sort of float above, because you mentioned earlier, starting as a battle rapper, that's a permanent defensive posture.
For sure, dude.
Permanent.
I'm so like, if I need to reawaken that guy, he's
there.
always there. I could care less about being liked, man.
Yeah.
But you talk about yourself as this polarizing artist, which you are. I think you're a huge punching bag on the internet,
Yeah.
and for music fans, it's like, you know, I think of it along the lines of like what Nickelback was when I was a kid or a teenager. You know, it's like people are like, "Oh, MGK, I don't care how many hits he has. I don't care how many number ones he has." Like he's a poster boy for bad music. At the same time, you've had a huge amount of success in your life, dating all the way back to before you were famous. You've been proving people wrong your whole career. You say, you know, you obviously still identify as an underdog, someone with a chip on their shoulder, but you walk into the Apollo. You win. You walk into Diddy's Bad Boy Records, you win them over. You know, you beef
Well, I
with,
had the whole industry trying to sign me at that point. I wasn't walking into nowhere.
but
They
that's
were
what I'm
chasing
saying.
you.
Like people were
Yeah.
coming to you. You know, you beef with Eminem. You come out at least even, if not on top. You know, like
Yeah.
all of these moments where the quote unquote hate for you could have buried you. Like it only made you more famous. So
But,
you've actually been winning for a really long time. Like, but do you not allow yourself to feel that because then you won't have any motivation left?
Yeah, I mean, I say it on the first track of Lost Americana where I said, all the pages are blank until my life goes to shit. I know I do that on purpose just to write again. Great bar. It truly sums up the totality of what I do almost before every album cycle.
Yeah.
You have to tear it all down.
I mean, and we watched it with this one. You know, you could see it in the news. I'm like, I gotta ruin everything. I've put so much weight on my art that I'm like, oh, I'll bleed out and die for this. I've never even thought about kids or the internet being like, oh, I associate him with bad music, because it's just like, but that's a vocal minority. Because when I walk the streets, when I sell out arenas, you're talking about, I think I'm one of the, I don't know, 5 people from any of those XXL freshman covers that sells out stadiums and arenas, that has created an unwavering legacy and given. I think what we should focus on is how much I've given to entertainment. It's not easy to, you know, make some of the vulnerable choices I've made or the bold choices I made, or to step up to certain things where I'm like, I don't want to, but I'll if I have to be the one to do it, I'll do it. Or, you know, shout out to Tim from Polyphia, who is like, I'll never forget him saying, oh, MGK made guitar cool again. Like he put a guitar on the cover of like multiple #1 albums. Like I was doing things out of love for the culture. It was never selfish, you know? So honestly, even with stuff like that scene, you know, I love the scene. I grew up in that. You know, I was a hip hop and a pop punk kid. Those were two of my
Same.
those were my ones, man. And I guess same with pop music. You know, those were like, that's the holy trinity for me. So coming from Warped and coming from just being that type of kid in general, I saw that I had a platform and was able to, you know, put attention on the spotlight on that.
And your Warped era also was interesting because in my mind, those late 2000s and the early 2010s Warped was the first time that they invited rappers out.
Yeah.
All through the 90s and the early 2000s, it's a traveling punk showcase.
Yeah.
It's still Gym Class Heroes, really.
Gym Class Heroes, and then
Atmosphere.
Atmosphere, like all those guys. And so that era, I remember going to Warped and being like, oh, they finally figured out that they're actually talking to each other. They're not talking past each other, they're talking to each other. So the fact that you, I assume, went to Warped, probably just as a kid.
01.
Yeah, and then got to be on Warped.
Yeah.
That was always the logical next step from a musical perspective.
Agreed.
And then eventually it trickles out to the point where you can say, hey, I made 3-4 rap albums with mixtapes more, and now I'm reimagining myself in pop punk, but if you listen, you still hear that texture of what I was doing in the early 2010s.
And that bop, because that's why the new generation was rocking with the pop punk albums I was dropping.
Yeah.
Because they grew up loving hip hop.
Hip hop as well.
Like Migos is their
of course.
Beatles,
Yeah.
to them, like that, so.
And there's a ton of pop punk influence in that generation.
For
whether
sure.
you're talking
Goes
about
back and
Yachty
forth.
or
Absolutely.
Uzi or
even listen to
Bacardi
Thug,
or-
like,
Yeah,
do you hear the way he
Juice
says
WRLD.
melodies, like, oh,
yeah.
Juice? So, oh my God, it's so much pop punk. Even like, dude, Juice opened for me on Halloween in Denver at Red Rocks.
Oh, wow.
And I went to his dressing room before the show, and we were chopping it about music. And dude, all we were talking about was pop punk.
Sure.
You talked about being the enemy of the bros and that this is nonconformist music. You think of Warped Tour as sort of anti-conformity, a commercialized version of it, but for suburban teens especially, like where does that come from in young Colson, like in your youth? Because I think people know you as MGK, they know you as a tabloid figure. They don't know that you lived all around the world as a kid, grew up in Cleveland. Like, talk to us a little bit about how you came up and how that influenced who you are today in terms of still having those same enemies.
It's a great question. I mean, one, even just speaking to Pete the other day, I didn't even know he didn't know this. I grew up in Africa till I was 6. So with that in general, your entire subconscious, those really formative years, you're growing up amongst so many different cultures, prayers, skin colors, ethnicities, languages.
You speak Arabic, I read online.
I used to. Yeah, it's a very complicated language to keep up.
Yeah, sure.
At this point, I can't even tell you what I have for breakfast. So like, I grew up with like very kind of open heart and open mind with everybody.
Receiving different cultures.
For
different
sure.
perspectives,
So I came to America and kind of became a product of bullying because of how my body was formed at a young age. I was very tall. When my mom and dad split, we became, for lack of better words, like poverty kind of ate up my clothes. Like I just didn't have much of many. I had an outfit.
Yeah.
It didn't fit cool. I was the guy who went and like got the wrong ears pierced, and went.
Didn't know which the cool one.
Didn't know how, whatever, to kind of acted goofy. I was obsessed with Jim Carrey, and so I would do all these impressions, and everyone was just like,
Who's the new kid?
yeah. Like, what's up with Ace Ventura over here, And at the same time, my house was very, very dark. Like I was living in my aunt's basement with my dad, and it was, I mean, dude, really, really abusive, really riddled with, like Listerine to this day triggers me so hard because I shared a bed with my dad, and he would always go and throw up in the morning and come back in the bed, and he would have Listerine on his breath, and it was just it's just like,
Wow.
It just the stuff going on upstairs.
This was in Cleveland?
This is in Denver. This is before I moved to Cleveland. I moved around a lot. Like Cleveland is kind of where my manhood like happened. Like that's where I experienced all of my adulthood things.
Okay.
Like lost my virginity, got robbed,
Sure.
got my first job. Finally found a group of friends that, I found some acceptance with.
But the dark period was in Denver with
No,
your
no,
dad.
dark period was in Cleveland too. The dark period kind of followed me.
It's all a dark period.
It was all a dark period, dude. I think like my light came around 29 years old, 29, 30. At this point, day and age, like if I'm feeling good, I'll feel good, and if I'm not, then I just don't do anything, which is why I haven't done a lot of press around the album. But I also really believe in the music, and I also have been showing a lot goofier side of myself and kind of the anti-bro, dude. Like I don't care that my nails are painted. I don't care that I have an androgynous look. I don't care to fit into whatever the mold is of like a rapper should be.
Mm-hmm.
I think what's most important is the music. The irony is that like Freddie Mercury was gay and made one of the biggest bro anthems of all time. We Will Rock You.
Yeah, sure.
Like it doesn't, nothing, like all that matters
It's
is
all
the
false.
music. They need to get their insecurity away from the fact that I just think they think my girlfriend's going to look at him and like him. And I truly believe so much of the internet, oh, he's associated with this. I'm really not like that. It's a community of people who are like, I need to destroy him because he's a mirror of things that I can't be free enough to do myself.
But it's interesting that you say people see you as, alpha. Essentially, they're intimidated by you. You know, you're a good-looking guy. You found a lot of success. Like they see you like that, but inside you feel like a neglected outsider weirdo that you were when you were doing a Jim Carrey impression. So it's like the perspective.
Mm-hmm.
It's all relative. Like you can be both. You can be the scary bro to someone,
right?
Or you can be the solace of the weirdo, you know?
And also it sounds like part of building on that, part of what you're trying to communicate about this, like stripping away the cool is like, how do I reconcile those two things? How do I let people know, hey, you may perceive me this way. This may be what the MGK brand has been.
Cool
but
guy.
actually what's underneath that, the thing that animated it is actually quite traumatic. Quite challenging.
Yeah.
Is that sort of where you feel like you're returning to in a way?
Yeah, because that will inevitably influence how others perceive me.
You, yeah.
Because my face will be the same, but something will be different to them. Like they'll see someone who's more grounded and more calm. And I think what I've been missing is just like a love for myself.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's why I take like that broken version of me and, I put my arm around him and I say, dude, like, I know we've, went through the trenches together, but it rains before the rainbow, and that's, I think also too, the flaws are what makes us interesting humans.
But it also takes something to own the flaw, to own the trauma.
Well, I think I grew up in a very, very masculine house, so I grew up where it was like, if I it was the type where I would come downstairs and my dad would be like, you're dressed like a fat. Wow. Go change. And, we went through a lot of eras together where he would be one person, then it'd be another person when I got home. Yeah. And, I had many years of being like, where's my mom? And he would have many years of saying all of these things. And then, 15 years later, my mom and I, after he passed, we, find this reconnection, and I end up learning all of these false narratives I was fed as a kid. It was so unfair to that little boy, because when you look around and the two people who are supposed to unconditionally love you, one isn't there, and then the other person is just like beating all of their own issues with life into you, and all of their unsatisfaction into you. And then you go to school and you're getting jumped or you're getting laughed at. I mean, dude, I used to try to sell my mixtapes at high school, and I was in love with my TV screen. So if I saw Paul Wall and Slim Thug and all them on MTV, and I'm, working for free for my who was my manager at the time at the airbrush store downtown, who was 350 pounds. Shout out to Dante. I would borrow his fake fur coat, which was for a man who's 350 pounds. Also, it's a fur coat, which is ridiculous on a skinny white boy in high school. And I would wear that to school, and I would be selling my mixtapes, and people were just like, bro, who is this goofy? Like, what world are you living in? Like, dude, do your math homework. You're never gonna blow up, you know? And so, I never had a chance to be who I wanted to be. You know, when you can't even leave your room, or like, dude, sometimes my dad would just bust the door open and bring all of the shit in there. So I didn't feel safe anywhere. That's why I lived in the attic, because at least I could hear the feet coming up, so I could prepare, like, all right, like it's about to happen, you know? And so like, it was less of a surprise. I literally had a room next to him, and then I moved to the attic so I could be prepared by the time he got upstairs to whatever was gonna like happen to me.
Like the sort of MGK battle rapper character as a teenager, did you consciously understand that you were developing that persona as a reaction to the challenges?
Nah, I just knew that I was nice at making fun of people with rhyming, and everyone reacted to it. And that was the first time that people were like, I'll never forget my yearbook the year before I started battle rapping, and my yearbook after. No signatures. The year after I started battle rapping, wow, you're gonna blow up, man. You're gonna be big time. You know, let's hang out.
So you didn't see it as armor. It was just a path to acceptance for you.
Yeah. I don't think I had armor. I think that's why I just like let it. I just like I took it, bro. That's why when people are like, "How did you do all these tattoos? How did you go through all this?" I'm just like, dude, this has been like since day one for me, dude. Like I've been getting even. I mean, my mom was telling me a story when we were on a bed. My dad was holding me, and a picture frame dropped on my head, and I was just like, all right, it's been happening since. I mean, even if you feel my head, I have like the bumps from the forceps that they gotta grab you out with.
Still.
So I still have like, you can feel like the forcep bumps in my head still, you know, like.
You've been embattled.
I think so. I came out, that the umbilicals around my neck. My dad was talking about he just twisted me out with it. I was like, oh man, I don't think y'all did that right.
So it hasn't been easy. The other thing that's happened since you've made this turn towards freeing yourself, towards being a rock musician and a rapper and a pop singer doing a choreographed dance in his video, you've been in movies along the way. But I feel like really since the pandemic, since 2020 and the start of your relationship with Megan Fox, like you've become a public figure. You've become a tabloid fixation, you alluded to. And then you talked about having to strip yourself down before you make another body of work. It sounds like the world was stripping you down leading up to the end of 2024. And you were self-destructing a bit. And then what happened to make you hit rock bottom and say, now is when I have to go get myself right. Now I have to go to rehab.
I went to rehab a couple times before. I guess I don't know how much I would actually say. I think, you know, there's a song called Treading Water. It's track 12 on the album. That's probably the closest to, maybe it's almost like the music speaks better than how I would be able to articulate it. I wrote this in room 3 spending Christmas in rehabilitation. I got no phone, just a cell that I'm trapped in while my home's vacant. I'm an impatient, but I lost patience. I just broke something, but I'm fixated on the gossip that I know is happening while I'm just being left out of the conversation. I mean, every track on this album, I can either point at and be like, oh, this movie was playing on mute during this song, or, oh, this happened. Like, there's a lot of, I mean, just in the sense of, a funny twist, like a comic relief story, Sweet Coraline, is about me standing outside of New York City smoking a cigarette with my friends, and it was freezing cold, and this girl runs across the street, and she's in this baby t-shirt, and she's clearly from Ireland or something, and she's like, oh my God, are you Machine Gun Kelly? And usually I'm always like, no, because it entertains me. But I was like, she was clearly freezing, and she, you know, I was like, yeah. And she wasn't from here, so I was like, maybe this will really make her trip, you know, exciting. And I said, yeah. And she said, oh my God, oh my God, me and my girls, we were over there in the bar, like debating if it was you. They're all freaking out. I look over, they're all in there like, and then she was like, I just have, can I ask you a question? And I was like, yeah, anything you want.
Wow.
And she goes, how did you fumble Megan Fox? I said, God damn. God damn. My whole cigarette cipher was just like, and
Her friends like bet her that she wouldn't do it.
My boy goes, do you want to redo? Because obviously we were like, she was just, as soon as it came out, she's like, all right. Like, I was like, that's the question you wanted to ask? Like, you ran all the way across for this? And my friend's like, do you want to redo? She's like, yes, I want to redo. Oh my God, I'm sorry. Tickets to My Downfall was a fucking phenomenal album. Honestly, dude, a taxi is careening down the street. Dude, we went and grabbed her and pulled her out right before.
She almost got Final Destination.
But if she wouldn't have taken that take back, I don't know if we would have just been like, fuck it.
No.
Wow. But she took the take back and she was nice and she complimented the album and we
karma. She
saved her.
Karma.
And so you wrote a song about
But
her?
if you listen to Sweet Coraline, I'm in the studio with Travis Barker, Slim, Omer, Fetty also,
Sure.
Bays, a bunch of my friends, and I tell Trav the story because I just got back from that. I was like, man, this fucking shit, man. He's like, dude, that's hard. You should write a song about that. So I go, lady, I just met you. I don't know your name.
Saved you from a taxi in the rain. You're so rude, but I'll hold my complaints. You might be dumb, but let me explain. Sweet Coraline, I'm hanging by a thread. I can't let go of things that you said.
She's definitely going to make a TikTok about when she knows that she's the subject of that. She's definitely going to
Yeah, you just made her famous.
Yeah,
But to be fair, I think as a songwriter, I've been really slept on for a long time. And I just think...
Speak on it.
I think we have lost sight of there is so much complexity and simplicity.
Mm-hmm.
And there actually is so much that can come. Because if you listen to Sweet Coraline, just surface level...
Sounds like The Strokes.
For sure, which obviously, dude, we also were just paying tribute on this album
I can hear
again
it.
Yeah,
to
of
just like
course.
all these eras that we love.
I mean, you literally sing Semi-Charmed Life by Third Eye Blind.
Yeah.
Which also a funny story too. I have a story. Every one of these I got a story. I'll tell you that one. Point about something like Sweet Coraline. You could dismiss it as like, oh, it's a song about a girl. This is a song about one sentence that I
How did you fumble Megan
extrapolated
Fox?
into an
But it
entire
also-
record.
But think of how much is embedded in that one sentence.
For sure.
That's what I'm saying. Like, that's
So
fascinating.
the fact that I can take that
unearth it all.
absolutely, I take one ingredient and I can make a meal in which I can explain why all the notes are hitting this certain way when you eat it. And also, dude, there's brilliance and puns and such rap shit going on in these. When I say Sweet Coraline, I'm hanging by a thread. Dude, it's such a bar. Like Coraline, Tim Burton's like one of my favorite creations he's done. Whose eye, like everything is, she's sewn. I'm hanging by a thread. Even speaking of sewn on Indigo, when I say, needles sewed new clothes, but it's more than it seems.
That's a rap
Needles
bar.
sewed new clothes, but it's more than it seems.
Okay.
Marshall Mathers somewhere nodding his head.
But this is the thing. I actually was wondering as I was listening to this record, because this album touches on so many different styles and also features songs where unexpected things are interwoven. You talk about the importance of songwriting. I wanted to know about the difference in you as a writer of bars and a writer of songs.
Right.
Because you had many years where you were writing bars.
Yeah.
And that was the thing. And then songs were built around them.
This what happened. I was such a live performance artist.
Yeah.
And wasn't
Wild boy.
Yeah, for sure.
Literally.
And that song even grew to its what's the word? To its apex via live performances.
Yeah.
That came from me going to South by Southwest, going to whatever that one notorious thing is where I went to like an Apple store and kicked over the computers and Best Buy pulled the album off the shelves and we're like, we're not selling this here. And just like I did all like I made sure everyone was like, I'm nuts, dude.
Yeah.
Dude, it was an age of chaos.
Abandoned.
For sure.
Yeah.
And stunts.
Yeah, and stunts.
Yeah.
I realized though, as the venues got bigger and as I became more popular, people are having a lot of trouble singing along to like the words.
In many ways, what you're talking about anticipated Travis Scott, Rolling Loud,
1000%.
Mosh Pits.
I
and so on and so forth.
truly believe it. Like, what if we didn't exist? I don't know if that would have came. Undoubtedly, those dots connected.
I saw you at Rolling Loud in one of the early Rolling Louds, and I was actually, it was quite a funny moment. Was walking backstage, like, like the pathway.
Humble brag.
And what's that?
Humble brag.
It's just slight flex, just calm flex. And I'm walking past the stage and I hear a crowd going absolutely batshit. And I had no idea who was performing on it. It was midday. And I turn and I see the stage and there's no one on the stage. And I was like, all right, that's weird. It's like crowd's going crazy. And then I look up and there's you dangling from something I would personally not choose to dangle from.
Was this New York?
Yes.
I was on acid there.
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
Scarier.
I remember
Yes.
that. I remember looking
Okay, so
down
you
because
know.
I was up there and I looked down and I felt like I was riding a surfboard in the Pacific Ocean. I was like, dude, my legs ain't working right.
Wow. Well, it was the Wild Boy in action,
But what's-
and very much connected those threads.
Rage was such a big part of the beginning of what we had.
Rage the feeling or Rage Against the Machine?
No, Rage, the feeling.
Right.
And like us
'Cause also
putting like,
someone-
dude, like
speaking of
if
dangling
you look
from
at
barriers.
2011 South by Southwest, we used to wear vests that said Ragers on them,
Mm-hmm.
which I think was, like me and Travis Scott, like we when he was opening for us at a certain festival, I forgot, we had kind of had like a little, it was kind of like an ownership over
Oh, like a little friction?
over
Over who was the
even
true
over
Rager?
that true Rager,
Oh, wow.
But just and dude, I mean, he fucking has taken it to the moon, and it's awesome. You know what I'm saying?
You're like, it's yours. You can have it.
yeah.
Yeah, hearing you and Flocka on the Wild Boy room,
Yeah.
you just like nobody at that time was doing that kind of thing at
Yeah.
that level of intensity.
You gon' need King Kong if you step to me.
Cobain's back. Yeah, Cobain's back.
It felt like it was an outlier, and it turned out it was in
Alcohol.
many ways. Yes, that too.
Truly,
yes.
because I tried to get Waka to do Wild Boy with me really early in my career, and his bus pulled up and his manager came out and he was like, we need $8,000. And I was like, oh fam, like I'm broke.
Yeah, sorry, we're
Come back in a couple years.
Yeah.
So I watched the tour bus pull away, and I think 8 months later we had kind of started blow up mixtape wise, and I was at SOBs here in New York, and dude, I see this 7-foot tall dude with dreads, and it's Waka in the crowd at SOBs, and I was like, dog, it's you. I've been
trying to get you.
And so the show
trying to reach
ended.
you.
We played "Oh Let's Do It." He was just blowing with that song at the time, and we like raged together in the crowd of that. And then afterwards, that same night, we went and recorded "Wild Boy."
Oh, amazing.
And I was in the booth with him, and I was like, "Yo, it'd be funny if you said like, suck my Dragon Balls," like just like dude, like we were unhinged, and it was awesome, dude.
But you were talking about wanting to have more songs that people could sing.
Oh, yeah, bars versus
that's
songs.
So you
that's
were
why.
Sorry.
building towards
Yeah,
this.
yeah, but that's why I built towards singing, because the crowds, I wanted them to be able to sing with me.
Yeah.
And there's something tribal, and maybe that's just the Norwegian in me, where it's the Viking aspect of like many voices as one feels like everything on the ground will lift. It
Yeah.
feels kind of when everything is in harmony, it almost feels scary.
Yeah.
It's like the power that you have when we are all together, like the love frequency that can raise it's unexplainable what happens when 100,000 people or 40,000 people or even 500 people are singing the same thing at once.
Why do you think white rappers often end up making rock music or country music or whatever? And I feel like it happens a lot. Obviously with Jelly, even you go back to the Everlasts of the world, like there's always been this kind of journey into
Kid Rock,
Kid
Post
Rock.
Malone.
Yeah.
Right. I'm not the spokesman for the whites.
That's all right, but I'm just curious
but
as a
check me out.
philosopher.
I'm an off-white.
Okay.
Okay. It's the I don't know why that lore exists
Mm-hmm.
for that. I mean, Jelly though. By the way, let's just put some respect there real quick, because serving the amount of time he has in rap, as far as the amount of fucking rap albums he's dropped and the amount of shit he has been certified for in the streets, that motherfucker can make bunny rabbit stuffed animals for the rest of his life. I think he kind of just is and also like as a man, one of the truly most authentic
Pure spirit.
friends.
He sat on
can
this
have.
couch.
But I've sat on his couch when I've been at my lowest.
He was present for you.
Oh, dude. You want to even talking about that November, December thing? I mean, the dude who would come visit me on weekends while I was in rehab and have lunch with me and, let me bawl my eyes out and be like, dude, I need help.
Yeah.
Like, I'm lost. Like, he was sitting across that table from me. Mm-hmm. We gotta protect him, man. He's a, you know, that's a good, it's one of the good ones. I was staying at his house for a bit, actually, and thanks to him and Bunny for being so welcoming. But dude, Jelly and I would jam on the guitar downstairs. He's learning guitar. If he would put it down and we would continue talking, then 2 seconds later he'd pick it back up, and I'd be like, put your pinky on this one, like that'll make the chord sound even more flavorful, and then put it down, pick up. I'd come back down to the basement the next day. That's where we would like hang out and smoke and talk. And dude, he's like relentless with how
A diligent student.
he's a diligent student for sure. But it's so odd because he's also so like wise and it gives so much game. So it's crazy to see him kind of do the dichotomy of both. But he's and now he's wrestling, dog.
Jelly Roll escapes it. My black hole slam. Oh my God. Boss man slam by Jelly.
Wrestling really well, by the way.
He's a great example of like, you know, there are people who get to a certain level of fame and they're afforded all this new opportunity, but they kind of just stay in their lane. Jelly's the opposite, where he's just like, oh, all of this is now open to me.
Let's go.
But can we normalize giving props to people doing things and doing them well?
Yeah.
Because I think also too, if you look at me with tickets or other things, I mean, dude, if mass amounts of people are gravitating towards it and there's authenticity behind it, it's unquestionable why it's working. You know, if Jelly is, I just watched the fight that he had with Logan.
Yeah.
You're watching it. I mean, dude, he wrestled his ass off.
Yeah.
You know, I think the job of an entertainer is to entertain, and so I don't think that we should, as fans, like, and as the internet in general, dude, we're starting to scare off people from.
Oh, definitely does.
Embracing a destiny. I mean, Andre 3000, great example of someone who's like, you can't scare me away from this. I'm doing Hey Ya and Roses 100%. They can do the same thing with me. I'm like, I don't care. And with Lost Americana, the thing that I give myself the most props on is I didn't try to do something extremely new, but what I did do is it was a maturation of what I had already done. For sure. And I think the songwriting, even the pop punk song on this, I mean, most of the songs on here are different eras, like me giving props to the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s. So the 2000s, you know, pop punk homage was Vampire Diaries. Even that, like, it started by a lady walking in front of me with an umbrella in the sun and me going, oh, that's a really interesting image. Like, that's a cool concept. What about a vampire who just wants to go outside? And the writing on that, there's a maturation between that and Tickets to My Downfall. Like, there's a, you know, I'm really excited for that I didn't get scared away from, you know, embracing whatever it is that comes naturally to what I want to do. I just think it's our job as the audience to kind of just shut the fuck up sometimes and let people. We wonder why there's not a Jim Carrey. It's right now is because, like, dude, could you imagine if someone out there and was making like goofy faces and all these other things? Like,
you are pretty good at it. I see the impression from back in the day.
But can you? People would just be like, "What are you doing? This is so lame, ew, da da." You know, and it's just like, dog, you're scaring the next guy away from or girl away from
finding their
because
finished product.
Because inevitably we have to do it in front of cameras.
Right.
We're not going to nail it every time, and so, dude, let's just laugh and enjoy, because it's kind of like, dude, who honestly, who cares what genre I'm doing? I'm like, if I'm dancing in cliche video, if I'm doing, dude, clearly I ain't taking myself seriously.
Yeah, of course.
I'm not. If I'm in the cameras being like, yo, how awesome is this, y'all? Whatever, then I'd be like, bro, that's cringe, you know?
But also, it's like we're in a moment where I think a lot of famous people, musicians especially, are speaking really directly about how hard it is to be on the receiving end of all that judgment and on the receiving end of the hostility and negativity that could come with success, and talking about mental health. You know, you think about the 80s, you know, you talk about Michael Jackson and Prince, it's like we didn't know anything about their mental health as fans.
Yeah.
You know, I'm old enough to, I lived through it. We didn't think
you
about
could see it on Michael Jackson.
You could see it, but he wasn't necessarily sitting and talking about it in conversation. And now you have stars at a very high level being like, yeah, you may think of me as a person who sells millions of albums and sells out tours, but I actually am struggling quite a bit and have been through quite a lot. And that to me is a real change in the last 2 or 3 years of people changing that conversation.
I mean, I think at the end of the day, we just got to be bold enough to like put our art out no matter what. We can't be too precious with our art. So if people are not feeling it, or you think that they're not going to feel it, I mean, dude, if we're not, you just some of this, we just got to put shit out without worrying about any ramifications of judgment. It just doesn't matter. I guess it doesn't matter.
It only matters if you like it ultimately.
Yeah. That's the best thing in that Rick Rubin book was when he was like, the second you start making art for them, it loses the reason why they even liked you in the first place. They liked you for you.
That's Rick's real skill.
I've done it so much differently because I've been rapping this whole time.
Yeah. I
keep rapping. I freestyle all the time. I do features all the time.
You rhyme J.K. Rowling with J.R.R. Tolkien on this very album?
Dog. By the way, like, thank you for pointing that bar out. That bar is cold work, dude.
That's a crazy contorting of pronunciation to make those words rhyme.
Yeah, but I just think with me in particular, there's an anomaly going on here where it's like you obviously know, right? The next album is going to be a rap album.
Sure.
I understand that you feel like your musical journey is unique. I understand that you feel like you loved pop punk and hip hop equally growing up. But I think when people get, I don't know if upset by it is the right term, but when people feel like white rappers have more flexibility to change their genre and land in a safer place that is less oriented around youth, that is less oriented around, quote unquote danger, like that basically it would be much harder for a black rapper.
Andre 3000? Hey ya? Oh my God. Are you serious?
I'm not saying it's never happened before.
Roses?
I'm not saying it's never
but he's
before.
he's an anomaly.
Yes.
MGK is an anomaly. I can't speak for everybody. Like there is some where I'm like, I'm with you. Some I'm like, hey, why'd you do that?
Is it necessary? Is it authentic?
Or some stuff I'm like, yo, did you I mean, dude, you want to talk about culture? I'm a part of the culture. I'm a street kid. So to me, that's why I don't even view, black, white. I'm very aware of the optics, and I'm very aware of how it was when myself, Mac Miller, and Yellow Wolf were coming up.
Yeah.
Because it was very much like, earn this.
Sure.
Which is why, and I was physically scrapping to rap in the areas I was from.
Sure.
So it became very hard for me to accept newer ones where it was like, yeah, we're joking, and like, or like, I was just kind of like, yeah, you're corny. You
didn't have to fight for it.
You didn't have to fight for it, but hip hop to me is synonymous with punk rock as far as it's a fight, and it's a fight for your right to blank, whatever that is. Like it, no matter what, it's fighting the power, fighting the system, fighting your parents, fighting police, fighting. I don't know, like it's fighting for something, even I love track 5 on Stillmatic from Nas, where he said their plan was to knock me out the top of the game, but I overstand the truth is all lame. A whole Canada shoot balls of flame right in the fat mouth when they call my name. Nas too. It's just like he's fighting critics, he's fighting enemies, he's fighting himself.
And also it's at that point, it's like, is he too pop? He started out the
totally.
opposite. Is he too pop? Does he have the right to make those records?
Yeah.
Is he welcome? Is he welcome back doing the other kind of records? Yeah.
But so you don't think you've been afforded more freedom to play around in genre?
Hell no. Did you see the response when I picked up a guitar? Did you see that? What do you think? You think any of the folks?
You told me it was a vocal minority.
Any folks? Any color was excited to see me do that? I think everyone was like, "Bro, rap."
Which is ironic.
because. But I'm one of the few who has true bars, and I don't think I think I was talking to DJ Head about this, where he was like, the last thing that MGK needs to do for me is prove that he can rap.
Okay.
Like we already know this.
I actually went back to see what the first thing I'd ever written about you or anything that you had done was, and I found like an offhand sentence in a piece from like 2011 or 2012, and I drew a line between how you rapped and Twista, Crucial Conflict, like Midwestern, complicated, but melodic rap. And obviously Bone Thugs. And I wonder if you could talk a little bit about that being a tradition that you felt like you learned from. It's not simply, a lot of people come in, they're like, oh, I grew up on Nas and Mobb Deep. That's easy.
Right.
I grew up on NWA. That's easy. But coming from the Midwest, where you had this very specific style, I've got to imagine that helped shape your idea to what it meant to write bars.
Yeah, track 2 on Twista's Kamikaze, was that his?
Kamikaze.
Yeah, that album. Track 2 was called Kill Us All. That was a pleasure to rap along with.
Yeah.
It was like, and I could do that at the drop of a pin. It was like the guy who could solve a Rubik's Cube. It was so complicated and so niche, but I could rap that or any Bone Thugs song. I think there was something about that region where we have this kind of southern drawl, but we also have, I don't know this. I don't know why chopping was a thing for that region, but that was very much like we grew up.
Super intricate, a lot of syncopation.
Yes. Yeah.
It's almost like jazz to me. Like the cadences are almost like jazz-like in a true way, which I know is like an overwrought thing to say about rap music in the '90s, especially.
I think, I mean, you even just bringing that up makes me be like, oh, as I'm diving into the rap album that shall come, I need to make sure that I pay homage to that, because that was, even for me, with the song called Chip Off the Block, which is one of my original, kind of big internet moments as a mixtape artist. That was, a lot of chopping and stuff. So I got to do that. But to your point of with, I don't know, between black and white, did the Andre 3000 thing resonate at all?
It does. I think
he's chasing that freedom that is maybe more easily afforded to white artists.
I think especially from the industry perspective, I think what happens, if I'm a guy sitting at a record label and I'm like, oh, I've got this handsome guy, he can rap, he can sing, wouldn't it be great if he did more singing? Like, I feel like there can be other mechanisms, and it's not saying that that's a decision that wasn't made in your mind, but in terms of like, does the record label support it? Do they allow it? Do they let Lil Uzi do the same thing if he wants to do it? That's really, it's the systemic stuff that I think we're sort of like talking
of course
about.
Even more so than the audiences.
Yes.
I just come with a entire world built already when I'm ready to present.
Yeah.
You can't deny me when I'm believing in something, because I will duct tape myself to the door until they press upload and I'm like, I want this, so
you seem like a hard person to argue with.
I think there's just that
like us,
element
to be honest.
I mean, because cliche, you could be like, this is the product of a machine. It's not so ironic. It's literally a product of me and like my boys. We're not trying to be clever. I'm so over people being like, look how smart we are. Look at what niche genre we are. Look at it's like, that's cool. And I'm all for it. But I feel this thing of when we all get in the room, because me and you would for sure do this. We'd be like, what's your favorite album? We're all going to dig
stuff up on YouTube.
No. We're going to dig. I guarantee none of us are just going to like let something easy fly. None of us are going to be like the Black Album. We're all going to be like, yeah, dude, I totally like the unwritten tapes from Nas's unreleased. Blah, blah, blah. Like,
are you talking about the Children of the Corn mixtape with Big L and Cameron?
Exactly,
like,
exactly.
Is that what we're talking about?
Exactly, bro.
Seems like it.
Tell us the Third Eye Blind story, then we'll eat a snack.
So we flip Semi-Charm Kind of Life. There's so many different versions of this song, but I was like, man, we need to clear this, dude. It's kind of a complicated thing.
Singing one of the most famous songs of all
time.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, well, I know Steven because my friend Mod called me. He was like, Third Eye Blind's gonna be an emo night. I know you sampled that song. Like, maybe you should come holler at him. I was like, I'm done. Yeah. So I said, done. Pulled up. I said, hey, man, my name's MGK. Dude, like, you're probably going to get a letter that's like, we want to sample this song. I just wanted you to hear it from my mouth first that I'm a massive fan.
It's an homage.
For sure. Like, this is, it's done with respect, and like, I am of this scene. Like it's in good hands. And so he's like, oh, cool, man, whatever, take my number. And, I followed up with him a couple times, and he was always really cool. And I've sent him other songs that I was just doing, and he was like, he liked the songwriting. And one day I was like, hey, is today a good day for me to play this to you? He was like, sure, I'm in town, and I'm in this house in Malibu. And I was like, great, I'm in Santa Monica. But PCH was blocked because of the fires. So to get there, it would take 2.5 hours because you have to drive
fully
all
up
the
and
way
down,
around.
right.
But if you have a parking pass because you're a resident in Malibu, you can drive a PCH. I didn't have a parking pass, but I did have hopes and dreams. So I pulled my car up to the National Guard, and they're there with their AR-15s or whatever, and I roll down, and I'm just like, please be a young police officer who knows who MGK is.
Yeah, sure.
And he's like, oh, what's up, man? And I go, hey, dude, what's going on here? I'm acting like I don't know what's going on. He's like, you can't go through, off limits for anyone that doesn't have a parking pass for a resident. He's like, are you a resident here? I was like, no. He's like, yeah, man, sorry, I can't do anything. I was like, look, I'll be completely honest. I'm trying to clear a third eye blind sample with the singer, and his house is right up there, and I'm not going to make it in time if I have to drive 2.5 hours around. Is there any way you could just like be a part of this story with me and let me go through? And he was like, all right, don't do this again. Good luck with your song, man.
Wow.
And he let me pull up, and I got on the beach, and
So the Coraline girl and the National Guard person who let you drive to Malibu.
Dude, you want to know another crazy story? This one's actually quick. Outlaw Overture, the intro of of the album. We had essentially wrapped the album, and we listened back to it, and I was like, oh my God, there's no intro. And for the last 3 albums, from Hotel Diablo, Tickets to Mainstream, there was always these really good intros.
Yeah.
And we realized there is no intro for this. And my baby was also supposed to be due, but she hadn't come yet.
Mm-hmm.
And me and Megan were both like, this is so weird because she always has her babies early. What is she waiting on?
Yeah.
And I go in and we do Outlaw Overture. And the second I get to my house and plop my body in the bed,
It's go time.
Megan's water broke.
Wow.
So like my baby was up there like, nah, Dad, you're gonna finish
Album's
this
not
album
done.
first.
Album's not
Saga
done.
was waiting for
Yeah,
the intro.
Saga was waiting for the intro. Damn.
New father. Also chose a new father.
Congrats, dude.
Thanks. How old is your
4 months.
4 months. But yeah, so you're back in newborn life.
Yeah,
How is that going this time around? I imagine it's very different than the last time you had a newborn.
very different. I actually don't have to steal diapers from Walmart. It's a pleasure. I am very happy that I can embed music into her
From the earliest.
subconscious from the early
Yeah.
days, as far as just like having different instruments to play. I know it's weird. I can play guitar to her and it's cool, but the strings of the ukulele, for whatever reason, I don't know if it's because they're nylon and because they're a lot
Something
more
about the
high pitched, but
frequency.
the frequency, she really reacts to ukulele, which is cool.
Wow. All right, so every episode of Popcast ends with a snack tasting. You went over to the pantry table. You took a quick look. You didn't even really peruse. You just immediately locked in on the high chews.
Did you purchase these?
I didn't purchase
They
these.
felt
Were
that
they
that's where-
sent to us?
No memory. Maybe they came from Sawyer.
Maybe
who
Sawyer
took a
when she
trip,
was traveling.
right?
Yeah. Mhm.
Looks like they're cola flavored.
Yeah.
You ever had?
Have you had
ever
these?
one of these?
No, but
Okay.
I've had high chews.
But you haven't had this flavor.
never cold.
Okay. I've had high cheese.
I'm
but
not going to
this.
tell you what the expiration date was, but
Nice.
I'm sure they're still. I'm sure they're still good.
My thing with a high chew is it's expired the minute it leaves the factory. Like it's a complicated hard candy. Yeah.
I'm having a struggle, but I got it.
You got
All right.
it.
All right.
It's like a cheese. It can't really expire.
Yeah,
That's what I'm
just
saying. It
saying.
only gets
Yeah.
better.
Yeah. It tastes right. It's like wine. This is good for 3 more years, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, it's still high chew texture.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Really good. Really good.
This is maybe my favorite high chew I've ever had.
It's weird what cola flavor they went with. No,
It's
no,
not
it's not.
like-
No. The apple.
when
oh
the
my God,
inside
you gotta
when the
keep going.
inside mixes with the outside, it
Yep.
really starts to hit.
Wow.
But you're right. It doesn't have that full caramelness of cola, and certainly not until you really chew it.
It's almost
get
like
the
they
full
mixed
flavor.
a Sprite with a Coke.
I like that.
It's a journey.
It is.
The food scientist got this one right.
There's a little fizz to it, like it almost tastes carbonated.
Yep. I love almost flat pop.
Slept on.
Yeah, it is. It is. Leaving your pop in the fridge and coming back for it.
True Cleveland boy calling it pop.
Yeah, straight up.
That's really
It's
good.
like also to your point about it not tasting like true cola. We're not in the Coke Pepsi realm.
Yeah.
Like we're in the Fago kind of realm.
Yeah, or RC Cola.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like we are in. Yeah.
No, totally.
Yeah.
It is more. Yeah, it is more like Lunchables Cola.
and it has like a tart. It has a
Can you
tart
toss me another
after.
one,
Oh
please?
yeah, I could eat this whole bag.
Yeah, this
I
is-
could definitely eat this
Yeah,
whole
I'll run
bag.
one back.
All right, we rank them out of 10.
Okay.
Where are you at?
I'll give you this. If they would have done a take on Dr. Pepper, that would have given it that would have given the 9.8 to me.
You're talking to a real Dr. Pepper head over here.
Yeah.
Real Dr. Pepper and
Mr.
Mr.
Pibb guy.
Pibb. Mr.
Yeah.
Pibb. You ever fuck with Mr.
Dr.
Pibb?
Pepper is 23 flavors. What is Mr. Pibb?
First of all, Dr. Pepper's a doctor. Mr. Pibb's just a humble man.
Yeah, that's my. I feel you actually.
He's a humble guy.
That's actually more on the Lost Americana wave.
There
Where we're
you
like,
go.
we ain't
That's
trying
what
to
I'm
be all
saying.
that, bro. Like,
Lost Americana is a Mr. Pibb.
That's a Mr. Pibb
Lost
album.
Americana is Monday through Friday music.
There you go. Nothing wrong with that.
Dr. Pepper is he's all like Saturday, Sunday. He's cool. He's for the cool
That's
boys.
Friday.
We're
That's
like,
a Friday
yeah,
night.
So I don't drink
Type
cola,
sensual.
but I love cola flavor. I'm gonna go ahead and say this is
Yeah.
a 9 out of 10 for me. It's really strong.
This is absolutely. I would say this is a 9.5 for me.
Wow.
Cool.
One of my
They
favorite
did great.
snacks.
I'll go 8.6. There's a little 8.6.
Okay, tough critic.
I don't want to be. I just feel like there's
You got to be true to your heart.
yeah, that because they had the tartness, I don't want my cola to be. If they would have presented this as Sprite flavored or something,
It might have been more in keeping, but I think that's But I think that's that part of your palate's working exactly right, because I think you're right. It does advertise as like a highly caramelized cola,
Yes.
but it's not that at all.
yeah, I need the more syrup rather than the citrus.
One of our most astute stack tasters,
Yeah,
by far.
yeah.
That is our show. Quite a journey this week. Thank you to MGK.
Thank you guys for
Appreciate
a great
you.
talk, man. Thank
Great.
you.
Every podcast ever is at nytimes.com/popcast. Get us on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube at Popcast. Credits, link in bio. We will be back next week.
I shoot dice, yeah, gamble with my life, yeah. No invites, yeah, keep my circle tight, yeah. All my hoes, yeah, keep that sugar spice, yeah. For the bros, yeah.